Hi, North Lake Elementary. It's Ms. Dickerson here. As you guys know, I teach first grade and I love to read new books. And so I am happy to share this book with you. The title is called How to Solve a Problem. There's a sticker right here that's missing, but the story is called How to Solve a Problem, The Rise and Falls of a Rock Climbing Champion. And down at the bottom, we have the author, Ashima, and I don't know how to say her last name, but we need to figure that out, huh? There's a little bit of glare. Ashima, and the illustrations are also by another name that I can't pronounce, but I would love to learn how to say those names. So if you guys know how to say those names, let me know, and I would love to learn a little bit more about how to say those. But on the front of the book, the front cover of this book, you see a rock climber. And I can tell she's a rock climber because she's got all the equipment that somebody would need to climb a rock, right? And rock climbing is a sport. I see that she's got a pack here. She's got some really good flexible shoes. I see how she's reaching and holding on to the rock with her fingers. And I don't even see a string holding her up. So I'm starting to kind of even think that rock climbing means that you climb a rock without even a string or like a safety net or anything, which seems really dangerous. She must be a really brave person. Now, when I do find on the inside of the book, down at the back, it does tell me who exactly the real Ashima is. It says she started climbing at the age of 6, and today she is one of the best climbers in the world. She is the first female climber ever to ascend a V15 bouldering problem, earning praise from Outsider Magazine as a young crusher and the New York Times as a bouldering phenom. This is her first picture book. So it sounds like she's a pretty awesome woman, right? And she's done some really amazing things in her life. Now, when it did say that she was the first climber to ever ascend a V15, you're going to hear that term in the book, and it's just the level of hardness. So that's a really, really hard climb for somebody to make, a very difficult one, a very difficult rock climb. So let's go ahead and get started. How to solve a problem. I am Ashima. What I do is climb. What I do is solve problems, which to say, I make them mine. We climbers call our boulders problems. We also call our problems problems, and to solve them both is sort of the same. Which that's a really interesting thought, because she's a rock climber, right? And they call these boulders, these rocks, their problems. And it sounds like they have to do a lot of hard work, a lot of determination to figure out how to get over each part of the climb, which I can relate to, right? Because we've all had a problem that we've had to work really hard to get out of, right? Once I had a problem and it stretched into the sky. It was tremendously endless. It was bigger than thinking. It was as huge as the air or the night or the planet. It was a problem bigger than any I had ever seen. And I had seen plenty. There she is, teeny tiny. Look at this rock wall she has to climb, full of her problems, right? Each one of these separate rocks that she has to climb over is a different problem. There were twists and turns. There were places that looked as slick as glass. One part was arched like a question mark. Another part stuck out like my father's elbow in a photo I have seen of him dancing. Well, I can see him dancing with his elbow pointed up. And another was shaped like the bolts of fabric stacked in my mother's sewing room. There were many parts, and none of them looked easy. This is really interesting because she's getting a different perspective of her problems, right? So over here, they were just problems. And then she starts to kind of think about each problem that she's going to have to climb over, or each part of the rock that of the mountain, or she's going to have to climb over. I sighed and clapped my hands full of chalk. which is what I do before I solve every problem. I held this problem in my head. I mapped out every step, each place I would put my hand, and then I began to climb. Look at her map. So she knows she's going to start here. She's going to move through each part, each rock that she's going to have to climb over, each problem, and she knows then she'll reach her goal, right? Now, I love if you look down here at the start, she's already got a mat, right? She's already got a cushion down there at the bottom. So I think she's already preparing to have to fall back down to the ground and start over again, right? Do you ever have to do that when you're working through something that's challenging? Do you have to start, move through it, fall back down, try again, go back up before you reach your goal? I know I do. I dug my toe into the dot of the question mark. I jammed my fingers into the bend of my father's dancing elbow. I kicked my leg over my mother's fabrics. Uh-oh. The book kind of turns sideways. And now you can see that she is doing what? Falling down, right? And then for a moment, the world slipped out from under me. I was climbing on nothing but air. So you can tell. But you know what? I don't think she's going to be discouraged because she already had a plan, right? She already had that cushion down there at the bottom. There's that cushion. There it is. She fell right down onto that cushion. The ground beneath me rushed up and pressed it into my back like the hand of a giant named gravity. So I dusted myself off. Dad asked how I was feeling. He passed me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And for a while, we just sat there. And then when I was ready, I looked at that problem again with the new information the fall had given me. So it sounds like she's learned something from that first try, right? She's gone back, she's looking, she's working through it and trying to figure out where she went wrong so she can do better the next time, right? Each fall is a message, it's a hint, it's an idea, a new way to move over, can I start over there? A new way to move from over there to over here. And so I started, and so I fell, and so I climbed again, listening to what the fall had told me. The problem that was endless, which I broke into little bitty pieces, the problem that gave me hints with each fall. And surely and quickly, I climbed the wall. Look at her here. She's climbing, she falls. She's climbing. Look at her. She's at the edge at the top, right? I dug my fingers there and here. I stretched my arms like ropes. I threw my body through the air and caught myself in all the ways I'd imagined. A bright path of thinking. Glorious. That's the best part. And there at the top of the problem, I looked down at the bolts of fabric, the dots of the question mark, the bend of the elbow, and I waved hello at the memory of how hard the problem was. To me, that's the best part. When you worked really hard on something, you know, and you've fallen down a lot and you've worked really hard to get through it, that's the best part. When you're standing at the end and you're going, yes, I did it, you know, and looking back on how hard you've worked. And looked for one problem more. So here she's looking back, right? And here she's looking up towards the sky. What do you think she's looking for? You think she's going to be setting some more goals? Think she's going to be climbing some harder mountains? I think so too. And this is really cool. So at the end of this story right here, you have this beautiful timeline, and it's called her ascent, which means how she's moving through her life, right? How she's growing. So in April of 2001, she was born. Okay, it gives you a little bit more information, and it follows her life all the way to when she's age 15, which is like really young. She sweeps the IFSC Youth World Championship for her third year running, and also places first in the SCS Nationals. I mean, this timeline is amazing. I can't wait to follow her and see what other things she does. It says, what comes next? The sky is the limit. I love this book. It's a beautiful book, and it's a good reminder about how working hard is just that. It's working hard and reaching our goals, and we fall down a lot, and it just reminds us how to solve a problem, which is the title of the book. And I love this one. This is great. Love this book. All right, guys, I was happy to share that book with you, and have a good day.